All right, let's talk about intense, sizzling, hot, blistering areas where you can't even stand at 3 in the afternoon because you're dying from the heat, especially from reflected sources. What plants can stand up to that abuse, right? So let's look at a few. So I'm starting with peonies. I showed you a woodland peony before in my garden. Here I'm showing you two different species of, two different varieties of a peony. On the left is an intersectional peony called Kaiko. On the right is a peony called Kansas. It's in the Lactiflora species. Let me explain. They're both beautiful. They're both fragrant. They both bloom in the spring. The difference is any peonies in the intersectional peony group, these are a cross between a woody tree peony, a woody shrub, and a common peony, the Lactiflora peony. And this cross between these two genus gave us intersectional peonies. And the big bonus here is that because of the woody parentage of the tree peony, these have very stiff stems that hold those flowers up. So forget about the hoops. Do something else with your time than going out to hoop up your peonies. So these have much stiffer stems that can support these glorious flower heads. Lactiflora Kansas on the right, this is probably what most of us think of. This is grandma's peony, which I love. Kansas is one of my favorites. A lot of different choices in the species Lactiflora, a lot of colors, a lot of choices from single petaled peony to double petaled, slight multi-petal, and those like you see here with Kansas that are just masses of petals creating those gorgeous blooms that look great, right, in our cut arrangements. Dianthus, love that blistering heat. Just bring it on. They can take it. I'm showing you Paint the Town Magenta. Many choices in the Dianthus family. You can choose between green-leaved varieties or frosty blue-leaved varieties. A lot of different flower colors. Most of them are very tight and compact, like you're seeing here with this cultivar. Most of these will continue to bloom sporadically, not at the same heavy flush. I don't want to mislead anyone, but if you deadhead these after that first flush, they will usually continue to send out flowers through the rest of the season. Personally, what I do with mine is I shear them all back, whack them all at once, right on back, and I'm going after that really gorgeous mounds of blue leaves that I think makes such an accent color in the front of my gardens. Here's Cheryl's garden. Cheryl is our manager of the Estabrook Kennebunk store, and here's her garden in Saco, Maine. She's just a master gardener. And I wanted to show you Agastaki, specifically this variety, Kudos Yellow, in her garden. Many different varieties of hyssops as far as colors and also heights. Many of them get much taller. This one, Kudos Yellow, in her garden right here and here, more compact. 16 to 18 inches. And I just love the combo she did using this coneflower sombrero tray amigo, putting it with the yellow long blooming hyssop behind. And this combo will go from July into September. That's a masterpiece. This is such an easy plant that can take incredible heat and highly attractive to pollinators, including hummingbirds, because of its tubular flowers. Calamintha, I showed this in an earlier presentation, but I got to salute it again. It's this year's perennial of the year, 2021. This is the one on the stage for all of us to admire, not only for its incredible ability to take heat and drought, weeks and weeks and weeks of these masses billowing white flowers, but is such an important nectar source for so many of our pollinators. Enithera, some people commonly call this evening primrose. You can get these in white, yellow, pink. The one I'm showing you here is a cultivar called Twilight. Opens with these just charming pink flowers with deeper pink veining. I will say, I always add in when I feel that you need to know something special about a plant. This will travel quickly. We're happy. So it just kind of keeps moving along so it can make a glorious ground cover. Talk about on a slope where it can take the heat and the drought. So it can spread along and it just gives you this wonderful flowering through, I find it's blooming mostly late spring through the summertime. Baby's breath, Gypsophila, kind of looks like what you saw a little bit before, Calamintha. but this one's going to be much denser, tighter mounds. Many of you are familiar with the old-fashioned baby's breath that got really big and billowy and really didn't bloom that long. Started to get really brown flowers after just a few weeks. This one has been bred to bloom longer and stay much more compact. So this is Festival Star. There's a couple different cultivars that now with this breeding to have a denser floral show and longer bloom. It is shorter stem, so it's not going to play the same role in flower arrangements as some of the larger varieties of baby's breath. But what I do with this one, I like to create a living vase in the landscape. So I'll take mounds of this baby's breath and I'll sweep them around my roses. You know, isn't that fun? So I'll take these around my double red knockout roses and have these white billowing at their base. And hey, kind of like, you know, vase right there in my gardens. Yarrow, love the heat. Butterflies love them. You know, that flat landing pad, as I think I may have mentioned in an earlier presentation, is just ideal, especially for butterflies. Many, many choices within this genus, flower colors. Some varieties have greener leaves. Others have more of a silver tinge to their leaves. A lot of choices in height. The tallest variety would be like Coronation Gold that has gold leaves and can get over 3 feet tall. There are other varieties that are really small, like King Edward, that's only 6 inches tall. So pick the color and the height and the foliage style you like and plant it, and it will make you so happy because it doesn't need a lot of maintenance from you. Actually, it really dislikes a lot of fertilizer, you know, so stop loving it with fertilizer. It really gets floppy if you overfeed it or if the soil's overly rich. A great native grass, especially for seasides. You know, people like, what grass can I put next to the ocean where you can get salt spray? Well, blue paradise or any little blue stem is a great choice for you. Steel blue stems, very narrow blades that then as they age get this really wonderful pinkish purple tinge to the upper part of the blade. And then mid to late summer, you get billowing small white flowers that become yummy seed heads for wild birds in the fall and in the winter. A shrub that would do great in really hot areas. I know a lot of you are thinking spirea and a lot of these, yep, those are good too. I'm trying to maybe suggest some different plants for you. Here is Hypericum. And this is commonly called St. John's wort, but it might be one you're less familiar with. This one has frosty blue leaves. Look at that. So it's got a blue tinge to the leaves. It still has the yellow flower that most of us think about when we think of St. John's wort. So you still get these really cool fuzzy flowers in the summertime that pollinators enjoy. But the combination of the yellow flowers and the blue tinged leaves, I think just make a really remarkable display and can take that heat. An annual for heat, number of different choices, and heliotrope would certainly be one. I mean, that heat, you can even appreciate the fragrance more in that real hot heat. Or they thrive. Again, they're not going to need a lot of extra watering. They are going to need some water, but they're not really thirsty annuals like some of the others. And with deadheading, you can have these lovely fragrant flowers right into fall. And ornamental oregano, this isn't sold as an annual at Estabrook's, but it can act as a perennial up to zone 5. I use it as a perennial. I use it in my containers all the time as spillers in my containers around perennials, annuals, or shrubs in my containers. It thrives off of heat. And I took these 2 photos. You can see they're over the heat of stones in full sun. Now that is one hot space for those plants are, and look at how great they're doing. They can just take it in stride.